Good evening, my friend. Welcome to WDW Radio Live in Disney's Polynesian. Thank you very much for being here. If you're watching live, please do me a favor, grab a snack, tag and invite a friend. If you're watching on the WDW Radio page, if someone could do me a favor and share this out into the clubhouse. I wasn't able to do it before I got started. It is a typical summer Florida night where the skies are probably about to open up. But that's right, because there is nowhere else I would rather be than right here, right now, with you. I'm going to turn this on. I figured you were probably tired of seeing me in the house and in my office, so I figured I would take you out and show you a little bit of Holly and Steve. And I thought tonight we would just sort of hang out a little bit, maybe play a little Would You Rather, maybe a little in and out, in or out based on this week's conversations. Dan says, let's go to Wailulu. I have a feeling Wailulu is packed. They were giving me a very difficult time to park here tonight doing construction. And probably 2/3 of the parking lot is under construction, so it's not a lot of places to park here. But if I go to Wailulu, I want to go, but I need to go to the full meal experience because the food there is so very good. Unfortunately, there wasn't nobody was going to go with me. That's not true. This is a very last minute decision. Just because I want to not only get out of the house, but more importantly, show you a little bit of Walt Disney World. Dan said pulled pork nachos or Dole Whip. I wasn't going to get a Dole Whip first, but I haven't had dinner yet. I don't think you're right. You know, microphone, you really have a tough time. Sometimes you work. Let's try this. Is that better or worse? Better or worse? Does the mic sound too low? Jim, thank you very much for doing that, buddy. And let's see if the mic is better. Yeah, I don't know why sometimes when it starts off it doesn't kick in, but thank you for letting me know. Darren, good to see you. Travis, Wyatt, Suzanne. Yeah, so tonight we can talk about anything you want or just have a little bit of fun, just play a little Would You Rather. I was thinking about that today, sort of inspired by the in or out segment on this week's show. First questions first. Do you like, don't say anything about our guests because one of them is here, but do you like the in and out segments? Do you want to hear more of the in and out segment on the show? I think they're a lot of fun. I think it's, I like how it prompts conversation, not just between me and my guests, but more importantly, hopefully you responding or you sort of posing some of these questions and in or out challenges to the people that you listen with or the people around your dinner table. Becky says, I have thoughts. Yeah, that's not a shocker in any, and usually when Becky has thoughts, they're not good thoughts, so it's fine. Well, let's see, it was great in spite of the guests. Yeah, I got a lot of that feedback. Oh, wait, that's awkward because that's Sean. No, Sean, you were great. And thank you. Ryan, yes, I am at the Polynesian tonight waiting for the skies to open up. Like I said, my plan was to eat something and then get a Dole Whip, but I don't want to have, what is it? You can't have your pudding till you can't eat, you can't have your pudding, wait, you can't eat your meat till you have your pudding. Something like that. Well, I can't have my dessert until I have some dinner. So you don't want to watch me eat tonight. So we'll just hang out for a little bit until the skies open up. So we'll just, I'm going to throw out some Would You Rather questions and just would love to hear what your thoughts are. And I'll answer any questions you have in the chat and talk about anything that you want to tonight as well. Maybe I should start with something. So at the Polynesian, obviously, you can't have your pudding if you don't eat your meat. That's it. It's been so long since I've heard the song. Would you rather stay at the Polynesian or the Grand Floridian for a week? All expenses paid. Becky's going to pay for it. You know what? Because I can see she's bringing attitude all right tonight. Becky's going to pay for it. Would you rather stay at the Polynesian or the Grand Floridian for a week? And if so, what is it about one over the other that makes you make that decision? For me, it's going to be the Poly. It is definitely going to be the Poly. I think for dining options, for Captain Cook's, even for Sam's. Like I almost sat outside at Sam's, so I didn't want to take a table from somebody who was going to be eating and drinking over there. Yeah, I think the Polynesian for me still has such nostalgic memories. I just love the theming here. It's one of these places that makes you feel transported to somewhere else. Um, yeah, and I really love like all of the dining options here. So yeah, it would be Poly for me, and it seems like overwhelmingly almost Poly. Noodles and Dole Whip and Tonga toast, tiki drinks, Dole Whips. Mel says 300 grand for the Poly. I like how you think, but that's not the way the game is played. Angie wants Polly in the bungalow as well. Becky's paying, so that is fine. Wow, it's interesting. I don't really see. Wait a minute. Is there no love? Is there zero love for the Grand Floridian? I don't see. Other than this one who wanted to do it. Mike DeCuda says Grand Flow. Wow, it looks like it is all. It is all Polly. It is all. Wow, Polly in a landslide. The Polly in an absolute landslide. Um, all right, I'm going to bounce around with these. Would you rather? Let's stay with the hotel-ish vibes. Would you rather spend one night? Would you spend one night in the Cinderella Castle suite, or a week in a boardwalk villa? One night in the castle suite, or a week in a boardwalk villa? Which would you rather? One night in the castle suite, or a week in a boardwalk villa? And when I say a night in the castle suite, it doesn't mean, well, I'll just book myself a week at the Poly. No, that's the entire extent of your trip. It's one night there or the week. So Chandler says, so yeah, boardwalk from there for a week at boardwalk, castle suite, hands down. This is interesting because castle suite has no windows. God forbid Becky doesn't have a window. Wow, this is sort of split. This is sort of split down the middle, and I can easily make an argument either way. Obviously, there's something incredibly special about the Castle Suite, although I have not stayed there. I've never even been inside. But the fact that you can stay here for a week in a villa. Father Christmas says I'll take one night, but that's because I've done week-long vacations for enough times. When would you ever get that chance again? Yeah, I think that's it. I think it's the opportunity to do something that you probably wouldn't get to ever do ever again. Yeah, Doreen says we can stay at the boardwalk anytime. The Castle Suite is a bucket list. The week that night would be so face. I think you're trying to say that night would fly by so fast. Unless that night is a Wednesday, I can report to you live from there. Yeah, I think I would have to do the one night there, and then I'd leave, and then I would just book myself a week somewhere so I can come back and stay. Would you rather be? I've been in Winter Garden, so one night in Castle Suite would be so epic. Yeah, I've never even seen it. I have no idea. I mean, I know what it looks like inside, but not firsthand. So mostly Disney. I have not seen it. I have never physically been inside the suite. So, would you rather be the first person to ever ride a brand new attraction, or the last one to ride one before it closes forever? First one to ride a brand new attraction, or the last person to ride the attraction ever? First person to ride a brand new attraction, or the last one? I think this is easy. Dusty, what's going on, man? Looking forward to seeing you again soon. Last night. Mike Armstrong says first. Suzanne says first one. There's Dusty says I have. It's beautiful. Last one. Yeah, I think this one's super easy for me. I think this is last one. I've never cared about being first. And if you say that you're first, you probably aren't first because you know that they've tested, adjusted, and Imagineers have ridden before. But to say that I was the last person to ever ride this thing before it closes for good, um, nobody's going to care a week after it closes. But for you, you have that memory, you have that sort of very personal takeaway. So, um, yeah, I would definitely want to be the last person to ride an attraction. Um, Historian in me. Oh, Mr. Daps, what's going on, man? The historian in me says last. Mr. Daps, I'm going to keep in touch with you. I'm going to be out your way in just a couple of days. Darren says I was so pumped to be last on a ride just to close a park. Last ever would be awesome. I agree. I think the last is definitely the way to do it. I think the last one does sound a lot cooler. I was remembering a conversation on the in or out segment about Josh and just how personable and likable he is. And I think there's a lot of people who are like that. I think there's a lot of people we would love to just sort of have some one-on-one time with, maybe even in a park. So your question is to tell me, would you rather spend a day with Joe Rohde in Animal Kingdom or ride rides in any park with Josh tomorrow? Rather sort of spend a day, just you and Joe Rohde in Disney's Animal Kingdom, or ride rides in the park of your choosing with Josh tomorrow. Those are the conditions of the day that you are going to spend in the park. Oh, this is interesting too. Ride with Josh, Joe Rohde, Joe Rohde, ride with Josh, Joe. A lot of Rohde. Wow, a lot of Rohde. A day with Joe in Animal Kingdom. Yeah, Catherine, I think that's it. I think it's the storytelling. And if you follow Joe on Instagram, he is I think he's just a fascinating cat, period. And I think that you would be able to glean just so much from your conversation with him. Look, riding rides with Josh would be fun, but I think I'm thinking more of the conversations with Joe versus just sitting next to Josh and riding attractions with him. That's why I was like, this is not dinner with Josh. You're just riding rides. You're going to ride rides all day, and that's sort of the extent of it. Obviously, you can certainly chat too, but I think getting a tour of that park with the person who, brought it to life, obviously with the help of a lot of people, I think that would be a fascinating conversation, and just some of the stories that he would be able to share. Yeah, I think that would be it. I think that would definitely be it. Seems like Josh would be more fun, but Joe is a little intense. I feel like I already talked to Joe because of Instagram. I love to see Josh's joy in the attraction. So I technically did ride an attraction with Josh once. I forgot about that. I technically rode Guardians of the Galaxy with Josh. He was in a different row, but technically we were together at the same time. So I guess it sort of counts, but it's not the bromance of us sort of riding together. But I think I would definitely take the day. So let's piggyback on that. Let's piggyback on that, and let's see if let's expand on that a little bit. Would you rather have lunch with Bob Iger so you can pitch your own park or attraction idea, or with Kevin Feige to talk about your ideas for a Marvel attraction in the parks? So lunch with Iger or Feige to pitch your own idea for something in the park to Bob, or pitch your own Marvel attraction or show or something to Kevin Feige. It really comes down with who do you want to sit down and have lunch with? Bob Iger, the current and soon-to-be former CEO of the Walt Disney Company, or Kevin Feige, uber Star Wars and Marvel fan and head of Marvel Studios. A lot of Iger coming through. And so tell me if you can expand on it. Why? What is it about that would make you choose one or the other? There's a few Feiges. Sean says, I don't feel qualified. It's not about feeling qualified, Sean. It's just a matter of who would you want to have that experience with? Who would you want to have that conversation with? Chuck says, I have lots and lots of thoughts. Bob's got to get him up. This is not, and my intention is not for you to sit down and tell Bob, here's all the things that are wrong with the park. I think this is like, Bob, I have an idea for something that you should bring into the park. And he, which he normally wouldn't be, would be able to actually listen. Chrissy Bunn says, Kevin not close, Kevin not to pitch. And I'm inviting Favreau, Iger, a great leader, so much to learn. I'd like to pitch a few ideas. Who's paying for the meal? It's on Disney, so don't sweat it. I'd love to lunch with Bob, unless we're talking right before. Wait, I won't scroll back so fast. Right before he's retiring, already passing the baton. Although lunch with Bob could really push him to buy Sony and get Spidey back. Feige to talk about a Wakanda pavilion. For me, Scott says we'd rather have a live tour of one of the parks. He was a live walking tour with Lou, my job night. Scott, I used to do tours. I used to do tours of Magic Kingdom. I did a few in Epcot for a while too, but this was like ages and ages ago. I am probably not going to hit Wailulu tonight. Top 3 reasons why I'm probably not going to hit Wailulu tonight. 1, it's probably about to pour. 2, it's also probably mob. And 3, it would be really, I guess it's lame that I'm out here by myself too. It'd probably be super lame if I went there by myself. But now I'm thinking about Wailulu and just how good the food there is. Dang it. All right, anyway. So my answer, I would say Bob Iger. I would actually like to have, just because I can, I'm going to sort of modify. So if under these conditions, it would probably be Bob Iger for a variety of reasons. But I would actually love to talk to Bob Iger after he retires. I want to talk to him after he has left the company, when I think he would be much more forthcoming about the things that he could chat about, as opposed to while he's actually actively working for the company. It's why Michael Eisner is my white whale, and I think enough time has gone by that hopefully he'll be able to be forthcoming. Not that I'm asking anything bad. I want to talk to Michael Eisner, not about the way he left and all the things that happened I want to talk about like all the good that he did for this company and how much he turned this company and this particular, like Walt Disney World, all he did for this park, for this entire resort, which I think sometimes gets lost in the shuffle. So, if I had Iger or Eisner, it would absolutely be Eisner, without a doubt. It's easy for you. So I didn't want to say it. So I have had, I have broken bread with Kevin Feige before, which was an incredibly remarkable experience. But it wasn't about, our conversation was just very casual. It wasn't about anything necessarily business related. So, would you rather? Would you rather experience Walt Disney World in October 1971 or go forward in time? I'll modify. Would you rather go and experience Walt Disney World in October 1971 for a week, or go forward in time to see what it's like in 2050 for just one day? Allowed to go back and see what it's like on opening day and be there for a week, or would you rather go forward in time and see what it's like in 2050? Suzanne, I agree about talking to Eisner. What CEO, excluding Walt and Roy, would you want to have interviewed? Yes, Father Christopher. It's Michael Eisner, without a doubt. I have he could show up here right now, and I'm ready. I'm ready to go. I have a lot. Oh wow, this is interesting. Wow, the number of people who are saying October 1971 is fascinating to me. I thought this was going to be I was like, Lou, this is a stupid question, because everybody's going to say they want to see it in the future, because we don't know what's coming. We know what it sort of looked like back then, and yes, I want to see, there's a lot that I want to see on opening day that's not there anymore. but the opportunity to go, I mean, we have no idea what the future might hold. To be able to see how this park, how this place expands in the next 25 years, I think would be, I would take that one day over the 1 week. And because I can almost sort of imagine to a certain degree what it was like in 70. Yes, I was here in 1971. Don't do the math, but I certainly don't remember. But I think as much as I want to experience attractions that are no longer here, I think I would much rather see what is coming. Yeah, I thought, wow, I thought that was going to be, um, I thought that was going to be a slam dunk. Sue Passar, October 71, to see what all began. Michael Kell staying at Poly in October 70. Wow, so this is great. Oh, that's actually turned out way better than I thought it would. 2050, but they still haven't changed the last scene in Carousel of Progress as Joe Messina. I want to witness the opening day team meeting and hear, yeah, I mean, there's a lot that I would like to see from an operations perspective, from a cast member perspective, from a, like, how have guests, this is a separate conversation for a separate day, but by the way, it's raining and I love this. How have guests changed from October of 71 to now? The way they dress, the way they behave, the way they sort of carry themselves in the park. What was the food like in October 1971? But more importantly, what is the future of food in Walt Disney World? Yeah, we'll have a fifth gate by then, or so we think. Like a week at Disney with 1971 prices. Yeah, $2.50 to walk in the door on opening day. So it was a different time. So um, let's see. Would you rather? Hmm. So I tried to come up with one that involved doing things with people that are a little sort of outside the scope of like just the theme parks. So, and I have no idea how this will play out. Would you rather have lunch at Epcot with Lin-Manuel Miranda or dinner at Tiffin's with James Cameron? Would you rather have lunch at Epcot with Lin-Manuel Miranda or dinner at Tiffin's with James Cameron? I think, like, for me, I know this is a very, very easy one for me to answer. Character meet and greets, they were crazy in the 70s, you're right. So was live entertainment. Um, Live entertainment was wild back in the 70s, and I wish there was more of that. Um, all right, so this is fascinating. Um, Lin Manuel, dinner with James, dinner, lunch with Lynn, dinner at Tiffin's, Lynn. Wow, a lot of Lynn's. Dinner with Cameron, Great Day, Modern Film Legend, lunch with Lynn. Mr. Dapp says, in my former life, I was a musician, so I get that. Lin Manuel, lunch. Wow, it seems like a sort of split 50-50. Um, yeah, both is not an option. Both is definitely not an option. Um, yeah, so for me, if it matters, um, I'm absolutely a James Cameron at Tiffin's guy because there's so much to talk about beyond Pandora and Avatar. Just in terms of, again, as somebody said, forgive me, I don't remember who said it, in terms of modern filmmaking and the impact that he has had on it and just the groundbreaking storytelling that he has done. Like, history is going to look back on James Cameron with um, probably even greater appreciation than we have for him currently. I don't know if I should say this out loud. This is probably not going to go over well if I say it. Um, I can very much appreciate the mosquitoes in my face, and I can very much appreciate the God-given and well-earned talent of Lin-Manuel Miranda. However, not all of his work necessarily resonates with me. There are some very, very, very popular things that he has created that just were not my jam, and that's cool, man. There's different strokes for different folks, and that's why there's such a wide spectrum of entertainment and musical tastes. So it would be James Cameron all day. I appreciate Lin, and it'd be cool to hang out with him and like split where we would eat. And we wouldn't split anything. Like he can afford it. We would each get a, but it would be James Cameron for me all day. Listen, you can tell me not to go there, but it's just, I think it's okay that, look, I'm a choose a good guy, and like I appreciate it. I don't love it. It's just not my jam. So, and I am not, afraid to say that I don't like something that everybody else says you're supposed to love it. It's okay. I don't. It's fine. Like, it's fine. But yeah. So, it's a topic of the conversation for Singapore. Jennifer, nice to see you. I am throwing away my shot, but so be it. Would you rather bring back 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea or experience extraterrestrial alien encounter one more time? Joe Messina said Cameron 2 is the same generation as you. Cameron's influenced my... Yeah, like, if we were to sort of go through Cameron's filmography, I think you can very much make an argument that he would be, like, a good choice. Anything but Alien Encounter. Alien Encounter. Would we see 20,000? Yeah, not a lot of love for extraterrestrial alien encounter, which I honestly wish I could have seen, which nobody did. No guests saw it. When Michael Eisner first came down to see it, he told him to like shut the. I'm obviously paraphrasing, but he was like, "Shut the doors and go back. You need to make this scarier." He really was trying to attract, right, wrong, or otherwise, a demographic that he felt was not represented well, but there was not enough that was attracting them here. Young boys ages 12 to 25. So he's like, make Alien Encounter scarier. And I remember the first time I wrote it, I remember literally like standing out front with my dad, and I was like, this does not feel, not only like not a Walt Disney World, it almost like it didn't feel like a Magic Kingdom attraction. Like I got it, I understand why. Like I wasn't scared by it. I actually think that the using all five senses in 360 degrees was very smart in terms of taking that space, those seats, that experience from Flight to the Moon and Mission to Mars, and enhancing it in a way that those original attractions did not have. The lights, the sounds, the smells, the heat. I did not love the next iteration. I did not love the Stitch version. I felt it did the opposite, and forgive me if you are a huge Stitch fan or liked Stitch's Great Escape. I felt that, I want to say this the right way. I felt like it was like hitting the lowest common denominator, meaning when you have to include like burp jokes and things like that, like that's not like you're better than that. I was like, Disney's better than this. You don't need burp jokes and the smell of chili dog in order to tell your story. And so I think I was like mad and frustrated by that. There was a lot about the attraction that I did like in terms of effects, but I did not like that part of it. I know this is so weird. Like it's like when I think I was also, and I still am, I think that when the attraction opened and Stitch desecrated, desecrated, not him, desecrated the castle with like graffiti and toilet paper, I was like, it's disrespectful. It's like, I know my parents are probably rolling over in their graves, like my son is talking about being disrespectful, like because we always talked about respect when I was a kid. I thought it was disrespectful to like the castle, to Walt, to like everything that the castle represented, and every person that came to the park that day. We talked about this on the show this week, and wanted to get like a picture in front of the castle. They waited all these years to get a picture in front of the castle, and it was covered in toilet paper. I thought it was infantile and immature and a little bit of a blemish. So um, Kyle says it much more subtle and elegant. Yeah, the Stitch capsule sucked. Yeah, I did not. I did not. I did not dig it. And listen, the 1996 castle cake, I know because I was there in front of it, and I blame the castle cake on, thankfully, I guess, ruining like what was supposed to be a very important experience in my life. It's another story for another day. Um, I understood, like at least the castle cake, while the execution might not have been perfect, I think you have to go. Sometimes you have to look at intent, right? The execution might not have been perfect, but the intent was very different than Stitch taking over. I did not love the color of it. It looked like Pepto Bismol. They're able to do enhancements to the castle now that are a little more subtle and respectful and in line with theming and storytelling. Listen, man, it was the 90s. It was kooky times everywhere. And, like, I get it. It was a product of the 90s, but I did not love it, but not as much as I still to this day, like, do not like it at all. I didn't like Stitch. I did not like what they did to the castle. I think it was um, my boys love Stitch. Yeah, I mean, look, I get it. I understand why. Dan Cobb's like, first Hamilton, now Stitch's Great Escape. I know I'm losing people left and right, but that's okay. Listen, it's for all those people who are like, yeah, Lou, you just love everything. And I'm like, no, I don't. Like, for all of you, maybe on Twitter or X or whatever platform was like, yeah, you just love everything. I don't. There's a lot of things over time that I have not loved, um, and those two or those are absolutely two. There's other stuff too. Um, yeah, I'll record. You can play it at my funeral, like top 10 things I didn't love, like in my time at Walt Disney World. But yeah, I think Shaggy, like you are, like we're allowed to like, what we like, we're allowed to dislike what we don't, and like that's what's cool, man. That's what makes the world go around. So, um, let me see. See what the Western River Expedition would have looked like, or take a ride on the Beastly Kingdom coaster through Dragon's Lair. So would you rather have seen Western River Expedition or Beastly Kingdom come to fruition? Which of those two unrealized concepts that will obviously now never come to pass, which of those would you rather have seen or experienced? Kyle says Western River Expedition, no doubt. Um, Chandler also Western River. This is interesting. Forget Stitch. I'm offended by the way Uncle Orville teaches the house in Carousel of Progress. Western River, Western River. Emily says Beastly Kingdom. Becky says Beastly Kingdom. Father Christopher, I think we did an episode a long, long time ago about like 10 things we would change. I don't remember what it was called. Or maybe it was just something we had talked about doing. Western. So Chuck says, remember seeing the model. So if you remember on Main Street USA, in in the Town Square Theater area, where they used to have an amazing Disneyana shop, by the way, where you could buy like film cells and things like that. they also had a preview center there for upcoming land, whether it was Epcot. So at one point, it was the expansion of Frontierland's preview center. If you can tell me without Googling or asking Jeeves or ChatGPT or Gemini, what was the name of the audio animatronic character that narrated the model, like the lookout over the model in the preview center? No cheating. No cheating. Tim Brown says, I do these questions all day, all night, all week, all the time. Yeah, this is fun. So Hannah Bird, the Western River expedition, well, and I know we did it. If somebody could look up, I know we did a show. I think I did it with Kendall not too long ago. Was the plan sort of phase 2, phase 3 of Magic Kingdom expansion, where Big Thunder Mountains, Tiana's Bayou Adventure, that whole area back there was going to be this huge mesa that was going to have not one, not two, but like 3 different attractions. It was going to be like a minecart ride. There was talk of having like actual live animals and things there, much like they did in Disneyland at one point. It was a huge, like, not just horizontal expansion, but vertical expansion as well. It was planned. It was on the drawing board. They had models out. They were getting ready to do it. And the problem, one of the problems, other than money, was that people were coming here after visiting Disneyland and going, where's Pirates of the Caribbean? Like, there's no pirates here. They shelved that idea, took some of the money, because it didn't cost as much, just for all intents and purposes, copied and pasted Pirates, opened it up in 1973, and Western River Expedition never came to pass. We could talk about Western River Expedition for hours, and I think on the show we did, if anybody's able to find it and link to it. I don't remember exactly what show number it was. Caleb Joshua Hill, bravo, buddy. It is Hoot Gibson the Owl. There was a little animatronic, Hoot Gibson. And I think I'm sure I have audio. I might even have video of Hoot Gibson in that area with that model. I'll have to see if I can find it. If somebody could send me an email and remind me, I'll see if I can find it and I'll share it like on an Instagram reel. Yeah, so they did rush Pirates a little bit, but it was easy, right? It was relatively easy to do because they did. Um, oh my God, why am I drawing a blank on his name? Dick Nunes was like, yeah, man, you got to get this built and built fast and on budget. So, because it was a huge guest dissatisfier that Pirates was not here. So, would you rather? Let's see. Would you rather go backstage at Haunted Mansion or Pirates of the Caribbean? Would you rather walk through the backstage areas of the attraction of Haunted Mansion or Pirates of the Caribbean? Would I rather be a samurai, a cowboy, or a pirate? I'd rather be a samurai. Oh, all day, every day, without a doubt. Like I'd probably want to be a Ronin, like a samurai with no master, and sort of just wander the countryside of feudal Japan. But that's just me. Mansion, 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 haunted mansion. The mosquitoes are in full force and effect tonight. You know where they're probably not in full force and effect? Wailulu Lounge. Love to sit at the dining table of the Haunted Mansion. Yeah, for me, it's Haunted Mansion all day. Let's see. Let me just look something up really quickly before I ask this question. Hmm. Oh, I just closed my notes. Tim Brown says, Wailulu or Geyser? Still Geyser for me. I need almost more context. You know, if you get the right seats at Wailulu, if you get one of those banquettes that you can sit there and look out across the water at, like right now, it's probably like this is my favorite. It's golden hour. It's raining. Like I love a good rain. I know I'm a weirdo. I feel bad for every single one of the guests, except for all the kids that are still in the pool. By the way, I feel bad for all the guests that are here in the rain, but I do love a good Florida rain. So you give me a little thunder and lightning, and I am here all day, every day. Um, Food wise, the bison burger is so good, but that smash burger is insane. The Wailulu menu might be a little more expensive too. I should do like a live dining review face off. Wait a minute. I'm just coming up with an idea. That's going to be so much fun. A live dining review face off. Wailulu Lounge, the food at Wailulu versus the food at Geyser Point. You know what else is good at Geyser Point? The steak sandwich is really good too. I haven't eaten enough at Wailulu to make a decision, but right now, either way, like being on the water at either one of those places tonight would be really nice. If it wasn't pouring, I would actually consider walking over, but I am I'm woefully unprepared to go walking in the rain. So and my notes are not coming back up, which is fine. Let's see. Live thing review monorail crawl. I'd be happy to drive down to help me out. Amy says Shades of Green and Art of Animation are my resorts. Would you rather spend a weekend in a Polynesian bungalow or a week in a treehouse villa? God, I haven't stayed in the treehouse villas. I almost forgot that they were there. I haven't stayed in the treehouse villas in, it's got to be probably since they opened, probably since the year that they opened. I'm getting soaked and it's fine. See, the thing is, if I stay at a poly bungalow, I'm not going to want to leave the bungalow because if I'm paying that much to stay there, like I don't want to, I would never want to leave it. The bungalows are nice. The bungalows are really, really nice. I've never stayed in a bungalow, to be honest. So I have no frame of reference. I've toured it, but I've never stayed. Mr. Daps, while you're here, I don't know if you listened to forget this week's show. The show, and I have a question. So I asked a question on this week's show for our in or out segment, and I said the Indiana Jones Temple of the Forbidden Eye attraction in Disneyland is a top 3 domestic Disney attraction. Are you in or are you out? You are more of a Disneyland guy. What do you think? Is Temple of Forbidden Eye? Is it a are you in or out that it is a top 3 attraction in a domestic Disney parks? I can sort of argue that I can argue that either way. You agree to my guess? Not. I might also be like I'm sort of in this like weird in. I would have to go with some of the classics. Yeah, I don't know. Does Indy fall out of the top 3? Maybe not the top 5, but does it fall out of the top? I'll let you know after I ride it when I'm there next week. I rode Indiana Jones inland and will never get on again. It nearly broke me. That's how I feel about the Matterhorn bobsleds. The last time I rode the bobsleds, after like the last refurb, however long ago it was, I'm like, I'm either getting old or I've just broken every bone in my body. It was a very, 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 it was a very rough ride. So if it's not a top three attraction, what are, in no particular order, what are the top three domestic Disney attractions? What makes your list of top three domestic Disney attractions? We'll see where we all maybe agree. Matterhorn's pretty rough. I love it. Yeah, like I need to bring like a neck pillow and sit on it. So Dan Collins says Cosmic Rewind, Pirates, Haunted Mansion, and Small World. So Small World, I'm assuming you mean in Disneyland, not Disney World. Pirates, Haunted Mansion, and Small World. Haunted Mansion would have to be up there. I don't know if Tower of Terror makes it for me. Living with the Land, says Shaggy. Amanda Catherine Matterhorn was under refurb when I was there. Cosmic Rewind. So this is only domestically. Hannah Bird says Rise is in top three. Pirates, Carousel, Haunted Mansion. People Mover, People Mover, People Mover. Listen, People Mover is one of the few haunted. Smuggler's Run, Toy Story Mania, Soarin'. Oh, this is fascinating. Rise, Cosmic, and People Mover. I was waiting for somebody to say Mel, Flight of Passage. Rise, Resistance, Pirates, and Haunted Mansion. Mr. Toad, Haunted Mansion, Space Mountain. Flight of Passage, yeah. I mean, I remember the first time we rode Flight of Passage. Like, I came off and I had tears in my eyes. Amy says Navi River Journey. Shaggy does not like. I don't know this. So, Father Chris says we're doing top three most Disney cutting edge thrill. So, like, you have to define how you. What qualifications make it be a top three, right? I say top three, you know, I can do a top three sentimental, like nostalgic, classic rides, top three in terms of technology, top three in terms of storytelling. It's a matter. Dan Collins, Radiator Springs Racers, like not a bad answer. Flight of Passage is in another realm. Guardians, Flight, Big Thunder, Tower. Living with the Land. Look at Living with the Land, getting some love. That's what I mean. I think this is a really, like, this is a super hard one. And I don't think that there's a definitive list. I don't even think that there's any single attraction that everybody would put first. Clearly. I think there are certain attractions that are incredible storytelling experiences. Flight, Rise, Indy, Mansion, Pirates. I think there are others that excel because of the thrills. I think Guardians. Does the fact that not everybody can ride everything, does that take anything away from an attraction? Maybe. Maybe for you it does. Father Christopher says the first three came to mind were Haunted Mansion, Pirates, and Jungle Cruise. But I don't think they'd make the top three. Jungle Cruise again. Classic, right? Does Walt's fingerprints on any of these attractions, does that carry any weight? Like, if you could take Walt, if Walt appeared in front of you right now, and he's like, show me what you got. Show me your top three attractions in the parks. Where do you take them? I think you take them to Flight of Passage. Like, what would impress? I think Flight of Passage would impress Walt from a technology and a story point of view. I keep going back to Indy. I don't, save for Rise of the Resistance. When you walk into the hangar bay, and you see that sort of voluminous space with the stormtroopers there. I still think that pale almost. I think it does not, pardon the pun, rise to the level of when you're an indie and you go into that space and there's that music that sort of like it enhances the experience, and you see the statue in the fire, and in Tokyo you've got like the little whirlwind of smoke. Um, I think Walt would be like, man, this like, especially coming from a movie, which is what a lot of the stories that gave birth to Fantasyland to Disneyland were, coming from a movie to tell those stories and immerse guests in that way. I think you'd be very impressed. Um, Rise, you might be like, what's going on? Or what's the guy with the mask? Um, but I think you have to show him some of the classics too. I think it would break every bone. We're going to assume that Walt was in really good shape when he comes back. Um, with the original Q experience, I would rate it higher. Rise is still up there. Yeah, man, it's hard. It is hard, and that's why I try to say, oh, like maybe what would he take Walt to? God, would I take him to Radiator Springs? Because he saw, he knows what Pirates is. He knows where Haunted Mansion is. He doesn't necessarily. He'd be happy to know that they're still here, but he doesn't necessarily need to see them again. So I think Flight of Passage and Flight of Passage will make Walt cry. That sensation of flight, without a doubt. I think Flight of Passage is a de facto entry on the list. I think Indy might be up there too, if we're talking only domestic parks. Is it Guardians? Is it Rise? Is it Big Thunder? Oh, well, yeah. I don't know. This might be a good question to put. If somebody could email me, Lou at WDW, if Walt, if you could take Walt and show Walt any three attractions in the domestic parks, which ones would you show? Oh, Kilimanjaro Safari is a great answer too, Gary Witt. You're so smart. Look, I mean that. That's the realization of what he originally wanted. What would I watch? So Chandler, I have a confession. The I have not seen the second Avatar movie yet. Way of Water, Journey of Water, Go to the Water, Underwater, whatever it's called. I have not seen it yet. I just, it might be a good plane. I know I should watch it like surround sound and see it as it was meant to, but I just realized I have not seen it. Rise, Resistance, you are in the movie environment. It's hard because contextually, would he understand Star Wars? Like, would that be as meaningful to? And I think the spaces are right. I think the AT-AT space is. I think some of the effects are, but I wonder contextually if I have to go back. Sorry, if he would or would not get it. Runaway Railway. He might look at that and go, "What did you do? Who is animating these characters like this? Where's my cute little pie-eyed Mickey?" You need to know Star Wars to appreciate Rise more than you need to know Avatar to appreciate Flight of Passage. Yeah, I think I can get on board with that. Um, you need to watch Avatar before my dinner with Cameron. True, I would. Listen, Hannah. One thing I am is a researcher. I will always do like extensive research. It's the trial attorney in me. Susan says 100% Spaceship Earth. Maybe I would take him to version like 1 or 2 of Spaceship Earth, not the current Spaceship Earth. I still don't love. I still feel like the descent in Spaceship Earth is unfinished. I felt like it was unfinished when the attraction first opened, which was before they had the whatever that TV commercial was with the characters in it that it still looks like. I don't love the descent. um, pull down those black curtains, get those animatronics up and running again. I think it's and maybe it was a budgetary thing, which I get. Look, we have to also appreciate that, and it's taken me a long time to realize that many creative decisions are unfortunately sometimes um, lessened because of financial decisions which take precedence. I'm trying to say in a nice way that the finance people sometimes sort of quash the creative people because of money, and I get it. It's they're in the business of making a lot of money, but um, we'll see what happens when Spaceship Earth finally does get its refurbishment. So, but I'm happy to see that I'm not the only one. I think you would appreciate Living with the Land. I don't think there's any jaw-dropping moments in Living with the Land, though. I really should have ordered food from Captain Cook's while I was here. The original Journey into Imagination with Figment, that I think he would have liked. I think he would have liked that. So, one of the other questions that we had on the show this week, Becky, you don't have to even bother answering this one because I know exactly what your answer is. We're talking about the Geo 82 and some of the other experiences that are coming to the parks and resorts. And I said Disney should add more adults-only experiences in the parks and resorts. Are you in or are you out? Becky is 100% in. If Becky could get rid of all the children and have the entire Walt Disney World Resort be adults only, she would. So Becky, you can. I'm going to tap you out on this one. But should Disney add more adult-only experiences to the parks and resorts? And if you say yes, if you say that you're in, like what? What would you like to see? Jill is in, Jeff is in, Grace is very much in. Need to have a balance, but absolutely adults should have a space to themselves as well. Like you said on the podcast, more adult-only areas, as long as it doesn't exclude, it's scrolling down too fast. Doesn't preclude areas, experiences that everyone can enjoy. I think it's good, but not at the cost of family experiences. I'd like to see additions, not replacements. So I think that's key, right? I think that's a that's a non-negotiable. Right? You can't take something away. There's a family experience for me. When you do add these things to, I talked about this earlier, and sort of not liking places and spaces that exclude anybody. I do think back to, I know I have to put myself in the shoes of different, not just different demographics, but different psychographics. It's not just parents that have young kids. There's people that come here without kids, right? And that's not a concern or an issue for them. But I do also think about the people that do come here with kids and say, oh, we would love to go and see that place, but where do our kids go? It's not like a cruise where there is, there used to be a Neverland club here at the Polynesian. I never really put my kids in clubs a lot. They didn't like that too much. I mean, they were great experiences, but they always felt like they were missing out on something, and I always wanted them to sort of be with us. And, we always treated our kids, in very, we treat them like kids, but like very mature adult ways and include them and everything. But if you don't have some place for your kids to go, you are now sort of precluded from that experience if you don't have somebody to help out with the kids. So I can argue it. The lawyer in me can certainly argue this either and both ways, that there should be, look, Geo 82 is a wonderful, upscale, elevated experience. It comes at a price. It absolutely does come at a certain cost because it is not meant to be Captain Cook's, right? It's not meant to be a place just to sort of go and hang out and have some counter service food. And so I can appreciate that. And I think one of the things I said on the show was because it is in a place that one is not very visible, it didn't take anything away. I'm very much okay with it. I look forward to going back. If only there was anybody would go with me. But um, yeah, I mean, I guess striking a balance and not taking anything away is the important part. So I think as long as you have, you know, I guess you can have both. Um, Becky needs a place to go. Becky needs a place. She needs a respite from all of these little monsters running around. I get it. She says doesn't mean either. It could be both. Lisa, I have not been to Geo 82. Lisa, listen, if you make the reservations and buy everything, I would be more than happy to go again and again and again. So, um, although I'll scale back on my yes as Grace, if it were to take away from family current space, I mean, perhaps a lounge area. Yeah, and like, where do you put these places too? Um, I think if you put them at, I don't want to say exclusive, well, you don't, yeah, because Geo 82 is not exclusively at a resort. Where do you put them? Um, where do you put these places? It'll be interesting. I'll be curious to see. Listen, the thing, of all the things that are coming to the parks, one of the things I'm really, really, really curious to see is the new Pirates Lounge in Magic Kingdom. Again, based on what they have done at Haunted Mansion Parlor, my expectations are going to be very, very, very high for that, and I know that I am very much not alone. Um, like I dig, there's a lot that I dig in Adventureland, including but not limited to the attractions and Skipper Can. I still think Skipper Canteen is a fantastic restaurant, and I love the storytelling and the placemaking there. Um, but I'm very curious to see what the Pirates Lounge is going to look and feel like. It's not. Is it going to be akin to an Oga's or a Haunted Mansion Parlor? Only time will tell. I think it's a nice option, and it's funny because a few years ago, when let's go back in time, go back in time when Disney was like, oh, by the way, when Be Our Guest opens, we're going to start serving wine and beer. Please rewind your Twitter feed to the internet and Disney fans losing their collective marbles, screaming that Walt wouldn't have wanted it that way. Walt never wanted alcohol in the parks. And now it's just sort of, it's a fait accompli. That barn door has been wide open and nobody even says anything about it or thinks about it again because other than Epcot touring festivals on a Saturday night, people are not stumbling around Magic Kingdom, completely intoxicated. So, Becky, you haven't eaten at Skipper Canteen because you can't get past the door that is right before it. So, um, let me see. My dad misses the bar coming out of the so the mile-long bar right after Country Bridge, which was not an alcohol bar, but there was a bar, and it was a mile long because there were mirrors on both ends. So if you looked down it, it had that effect that made it look like it was a mile long. So the problem with alcohol, it only takes a couple of people to ruin it. I will say, Shaggy, um, I don't think I have never seen in Magic Kingdom it being an issue. Not like I'm there every day, but we don't really hear about that. In Epcot, you're always going to get the knuckleheads look. Anybody that walks into Epcot with a Viking hat on or a sombrero or a drink around the world t-shirt, you know how it's probably not going to end well for them. I think they are the outliers and the exceptions to the norm. And I don't think that they necessarily ruined it. I think that there are other, places outside of Disney that is much more the case, but I don't think it is. I don't think it's here. So, let me see. Festivals at Epcot make it, yeah. I mean, I don't, festivals on Saturday nights, you know, attracts a different. Like, you also get a lot of locals who don't necessarily come here to Epcot except for and because of festivals. So, Becky, if only there was anybody. Becky, I'm right here. I am more than happy to go visit Geo 82 over and over and over again, as long as somebody else is paying. So, hey, look, I got 2 kids in college. I got 5. Wait, what movie? I got 5 kids to feed, man. If it becomes an issue, take care of Windows on, no problem. We'll take it back. Yeah. We have seen some guests feeling. Look, I've seen some guests feeling no pain in the middle of the afternoon, like on a Tuesday in Epcot. So, um, But what movie? What movie? I got 5 kids to feed, which we find out later is a lie. He did not have 5 kids to feed. But Jerry saying our first adult-only trip in early September, and our final kid out of high school victory. Justin White, Total Recall. Nice. Nice. The original Total Recall, not that not so awesome remake. So, yeah, I have a couple more in and outs for this week, but I want to be respectful of everybody's time because I know there's some of these I think that are much longer, much more interesting questions. All right, we'll keep it simple. We'll keep it simple. All right, we'll keep it super simple because I was going to ask about this other one's going to open up too many cans of worms. For those of you who've seen it, the Country Bear Jamboree is the update is exactly what that show needed. Are you in or are you out? It's my classic attractions, things that have been here forever, things that have such sentimental meaning for a certain group of people. Not everybody. A lot of young kids did not like, nor did they want to go, certainly not more than once, to the old Country Bear show. Is the update that we got the update that we needed? Are you in or are you out? Sean is out. 100% in. There's a few outs. Oh, wait, no. Is Sean alone and is out? Sean and Bree. Let me see. In. Dan says, I didn't expect to. My God, I'm getting eaten alive out here. Didn't expect to enjoy it as much as I did. So, Sean, explain why you are out. I have to. Disney Chuck also is out. You are not alone. Katrina Kenny is also out. I've only seen it once. I only saw it when they did the preview. I have yet to go back, only because I haven't been to Magic Kingdom very much since. I've yet to go back, but from what I hear from people who go and who talk about the reactions, it seems like it's a huge guest satisfier, especially with younger kids. And again, I keep saying these attractions are being built not for me and for some of you, but they're being built for the generation that's coming and here behind us and their kids, because this is going to be the show and the music that they grew up with that they're going to pass on to them. I will not get into the closing of Tom Sawyer Island and the Rivers of America for a variety of reasons. I did not have, whatever. I'll share that story some other time. But Amy says the Tiki Room may need to go. So, all right, let's end with that. Amy says the Tiki Room may need to go. Are you okay? The Tiki Room needs to go. Are you in or are you out? Let's see what sort of can of fireworks Amy might have just opened. Tiki Room's tough, man. I think Tiki Room is tough because now I haven't been there in a long time, which, is on me. I wonder how many other people have not been there in a long time. I wonder how many people do go there. Like, what does Tiki Room look like tonight? July 4th week, a huge vacation week. But on a normal day, what does Tiki Room look like on a Saturday? Does it have too much Walt in it to ever go away? People would lose their marbles. If Tiki Room went away. But mostly Disney was there last week twice. It was awesome and crowded. Like, I like hearing that, man. I like hearing that show that has not changed very much still is able to draw a crowd. I'm out. I don't want to see it go. Suzanne says it's full when it's hot out, which again shouldn't be the reason why it's crowded. Don't go every trip, but it's a great. Like, I'm looking forward when I go to Disneyland next week. Like, I'm looking forward to seeing the Tiki Room, not just because I want a Dole Whip with tahini. Oh my God, I can't wait! I can't wait to get a Dole with tahini. Tiki Room should be charged. So Sean, it can't because there's no kitchen. That's part of the reason. I mean, there's a lot of different reasons why, but they wouldn't be able. I know certainly in the world they wouldn't be able to do it, and there's a lot of reasons why it never became the restaurant that Walt wanted it to be. So, Catherine says, "I need to sing in my car. I do. Yeah, we could have a little tiki room, Dole Whip meetup. I love that little space out there too. Oh wait, Becky, they also have the really good. Don't they have the bao buns out there as well? Oh my God, I can't wait to eat in Disneyland. I'm so excited. Tiki Room is better in Disneyland. It's longer. It's the original. There are some things that are. There's a lot of things that are better in Disneyland. Better, I'm putting in air quotes because how you define better. Um, but there are some things where the original, you know, Kelly says it's okay to update it. The Tokyo version is fun. I didn't get to do Tiki Room when we were there. There literally was not enough time. I'm not saying, Becky, that we need another adventure. Somebody asked me 2 days ago. Someone I haven't heard from in a long time was like, "You guys are going back to Tokyo for another Adventures by Disney, right? Like, can I put my name on the wait list now?" So we might need to. Oh God, Bengal barbecue Heather is so good. I'm gonna I'm gonna get my steps in, but I'm gonna eat my way through Disneyland and have so much fun in doing it. So, but I think these are interesting questions to ponder and just have fun discussing and debating. There is no wrong answer, right? This is part of the fun of In and Out. There is no wrong answer, and it just shows how different things appeal to different people for different reasons, and that's what makes the world go round. That's what makes Disney such a beautiful place, is that there is something for everybody. And that's why I still continue to love this place so much, and I still smile when I walk into the parks and even resorts like this. And I keep looking around tonight, and I'm like watching these families together and like little kids, and yeah. And this is, we talk about what Walt wanted. This is it, man. This is it. He wanted this. I think he didn't know that he wanted this, but this is what he wanted too. He wanted this place to bring people together as friends, as family, and as extended family. And I think he would be amazed at this, right? If I could show him something, I would show him you. I take back all my other answers. If I could show Walt something, I would show him you. I would show him what real community, real family, that does not have to be related by blood, really means, and what meaningful, authentic community is, and how this place has brought people from around the planet together. Um, we've been together, some of us, for 20 years, and that is not lost on me. So thank you for that. Thank you for the gift of allowing me to be here and share all of this with you. This place, these attractions, even this food, means nothing without you, and I mean that. You know, I travel a lot solo, but I know that I am never alone because I have you guys, and I want you to know that I am aware of it every single day, every morning when I wake up, and every night, and the things that I get to do are all because of you. So it's why I love you. I appreciate you, and why, if there's ever anything I can do for you, please let me know. Let's see if it recognizes. Probably not. It doesn't matter. Well, I'm still throwing up a heart for you. Anyway, I am leaving on Saturday for our Adventures by Disney, the first of two that we're doing this month. I can't wait to share so much of that experience with you. Definitely stay tuned to my Instagram stories and reels. I'm going to be sharing a lot of stuff there, primarily real time. Some stuff does get shared to the WDW Radio page. It doesn't go over to the clubhouse. So if you're not following me on Instagram, please, as soon as we're done, like right here, hop over, follow me there. And if you can, like, liking and commenting on stuff there, make sure that you see it and other people do it as well. So anything you can do to help out. And who knows, I thought about doing it tonight. I might even go live on Instagram while I'm out in Disneyland. So follow me there, turn on notifications, and we will play more games, have more fun, and create some incredible memories together. I love and appreciate you. Always remember, be good, be kind, choose the good. Have a great night. I'll see you soon. The last thing you want to see is not my face. Good night, guys. Love you.